Hey, Christian business owners, are you ready to experience true freedom? And I mean true freedom through the actual operation of your business on a day-to-day basis. You can find true freedom in your business, true freedom in your life, and it's found through being connected to a purpose that is bigger than yourself. And actually, the biggest meaning and the biggest purpose you're going to find in the daily operation of your business is being connected to the ultimate purpose. And we're going to talk about that toward the end, but let's set some ground rules first. Well, let's get going because this is going to be practical. I'm not just talking about theory here. At the very end, I'm going to show you how to make this extremely practical in the day-to-day operation of your business. So stay with me. You ever thought about this? As a follower of Jesus, does God love you? Is God good? Does God always do good? And does God know that heaven would be a better environment for you than on this earth? So let's go through that again. Does God love you? Is God good? Does God always do good? And does God know heaven would be a better place for you than on this earth? If all those are true, then why, when you're baptized, doesn't God have them hold you under the water until you drown and you would get an immediate promotion to heaven? Funny question, but I think it's a serious question that you need to consider. Maybe the reason that God doesn't have them drown you when you're baptized and that he still has you on this earth is that he has you here for a purpose that is tied to him, not to you. And that purpose, I would say, is the key that ties everything together from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22. And there's a link down in the show notes that links to an article that I wrote for Medium that walks you through this, Genesis to Revelation, about this common theme. But I'll give you the short version for this. The short version is the Great Commission, when Jesus says at the end of Matthew 28, all authority on heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples amongst all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything that I have said. And as you do that, I will be with you always. That to me is not just 3 verses out of a very thick book, the Bible. That is a short 3-verse synopsis of what God has been doing since from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22. And that, my friends, is the ultimate purpose or goal that we need to get connected with. So, I'm just going to throw this out to you. I have found it to be true. And I think if you're a Christian that owns a business, you have either figured this out or you are on your way to figuring this out. And that is living a self-centered life that is focused on what I want and what I desire turns out in a very short period of time to be boring, and it turns out to be meaningless. In fact, my life was radically changed when I realized this early on. And that includes your business. If you are operating your business for you and how much money you can make and how big you can grow it, and perhaps if you have a brick and mortar location, how many locations you can have, there's only so much satisfaction found in that before it becomes boring and meaningless. What you need is a purpose, a vision that is bigger than you. And I have put something together that will help you achieve that. And I call it the Northstar Challenge. And what it does is it helps you and I, one-on-one for 5 days on the phone for 30 to 60 minutes a day. It's just you and I individually. Nobody else is included in the conversation. We will go through a framework that I've put together that will help you create for the next 12 months an overarching, compelling, motivating vision for your life and your business. Okay? All the info is down in the show notes on how to do it. But I'll just give you a quick breakdown. The cost is $10, but you don't give the $10 to me. There's 3 organizations, nonprofits listed down in the show notes. Select one of those, make a $10 donation, take a screenshot of the donation, send me a copy of that screenshot to either text it to my phone number, which is listed down below in the show notes, or to my email that's also in the show notes. I'll get in contact with you and we'll get this started, and we'll get a vision for the next 12 months for your life and for your business that will be compelling. When you're living for something bigger than yourself that has a significant impact that you're going to leave in the world, and I call it lasting impact, I call it living the temporary life for a lasting impact. When you're living life and you're operating your business for a lasting impact that's going to last long after you're gone, that keeps the motivation high. That keeps the desire to persevere and push through the tough stuff high. And that keeps your discipline high. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. Getting a compelling vision of how to live your temporary life and operate your temporary business, because your business is not going to go on forever as much as you think it is. It's not going to go on forever. It's only temporary. So Christian business owners, learn to live your life and operate your business in a way that your temporary life and your temporary business are operating to leave a lasting impact. And when I say lasting impact, I'm talking about leaving an impact that will be impacting generations that are not even yet born when you die. So what is this ultimate purpose? Because the ultimate purpose is found, I firmly believe this, the ultimate purpose for your life is found when you are rightly connected with your Creator and His mission. And when I'm talking about Creator, I just want to be clear, I'm talking about the God of the Bible. I mean the God that is described and found in the Bible. Your Creator. When you are rightly connected with that God, and then you are rightly connected with His mission, which we just talked about, the Great Commission, a short summary of God's mission from Genesis to Revelation. And I would briefly describe God's mission as it is about worldwide revolution and conquest. That's what it's about, worldwide revolution and conquest. And when you're rightly connected with those two things, then you will leave a lasting impact, and the length of that lasting impact will be forever. So that is the ultimate lasting impact, an impact that lasts forever. And the way you do that, the ultimate purpose for your life, and more importantly for our discussion here today, the ultimate purpose for your business's life, is to make making disciples. In other words, to be making disciples of Jesus that then make disciples. Now, let's make this very practical. What does that look like in your business? I always say, you need metrics to be tracking in your business. You track metrics for the success of your business according to how society, according to how the business world defines success. You track sales. You may track outgoing sales calls. You may track gross revenue. You may track profit. You may track number of jobs you've done. You may track the lifetime value of your customer. Whatever it is that you track, you need metrics that are just as important that you track in your business, metrics that are focused on one thing, making disciples of Jesus. And so what are some metrics that you could be tracking? I'm not saying start with all these. That would be overwhelming. I'm just going to throw out a list of, let's see what I got here. I believe it's 6 ideas. 6 ideas that you could be tracking. One idea would be, how many spiritual conversations are you attempting to have with either your employees, your customer clients, or your vendors? So for each of these things that we're going to talk about, each of these metrics that you might track, think about that in relation to doing it with your employees, with your customer or clients, and with your vendors. First one, you could track attempted spiritual conversations. When I say attempted, it doesn't mean you have to have a spiritual conversation. Some people aren't interested. That's not the point. The point is to track how many times you or people in your business perhaps attempted to have a spiritual conversation with someone that's not a believer, okay? The second one is prayer question. How many times did you ask someone or someone in your business ask someone, hey, how can I pray for you or your family? That would be something you could track. Another thing you could track is, how did you or someone in your business go out of their way to serve a client or customer or a vendor? Not just in the normal routine of what's expected, but go out of your way to either in a big or small way serve them. How many times did you listen to someone's story without judging? Just listened and were truly interested in the person's story. I have found that is a great way to love on and care for people, is to listen to their story, because there are so many hurting, lonely people out there who just would like for somebody to listen to their story. You don't have to have an answer. You don't have to fix a problem. You're just listening to their story and really caring. Another thing that you could track, remember, don't think you have to track all of these. Something else you could track would be, how many times did you share your story about what God has done in your life or what God is doing in your life? We have a simple way in our discipleship, our disciple making course, of how to share your story in 30 to 60 seconds in a short way that just really gets it out there to open the door up for them to talk with you about spiritual things. And then finally, something else you could track is, how many times did you share God's story or what Jesus has done for everyone? So those are things. I'm just going to run through them real quick again, and they will be down in the show notes. But this is taking the concept of connecting your business to find your business's ultimate purpose, which is found in God, being rightly connected with God, and your business is led and directed and owned by God, and then being rightly connected with God's mission of worldwide revolution, leading to worldwide conquest through the making of making disciples amongst all groups of people in the world. So here we go. Track spiritual conversations you attempted. Track how many times you asked someone, how could you pray for them? Track how you serve someone, went out of your way to serve them in big or small ways. Track how many times you listened to someone's story without judging. Track how many times you shared your story of what God is doing in your life. Or track how many times you shared God's story of what Jesus has done for everyone. Hey, if you found this interesting, if you found this challenging, if you found this thought-provoking, consider liking it. Consider maybe even sharing a link to this video with someone you think it would help. And finally, consider pushing that subscribe button and subscribing. If you really found something useful, how about making a comment down below? And if you think this is ridiculous, I'm totally off my rocker, that's fine too. Make a comment there, because all comments help me to be able to make better videos down the line that will help more people.